Tôi mong kết quả là chính xác.
Cháu cũng vậy thưa bác.
Kết quả đây, xác nhận hai người là mẹ con ruột. Cảm ơn bác sĩ. Kết quả sẽ ra sớm thôi.
Cháu lo lắm anh ạ.
Cố lên con, mẹ tin là mẹ con mình. Đúng rồi, bình tĩnh nhá.
Bố ơi, mẹ ơi, con về rồi đây.
Con gái của mẹ nhớ con lắm. Bố cũng nhớ con đi xa quá.
Con cũng nhớ nhà. Con nhớ bố mẹ quá.
Con gái của bố đừng khóc nữa. Về nhà rồi mọi chuyện sẽ
Con
ổn
vui
thôi.
quá.
What if the people standing before you, the ones with tears in their eyes and hope in their voices, claim to be your long-lost parents? Would you trust your heart or would you demand the truth? In this emotional journey, Thomas brings Huyen and Dae to meet a couple believed to be Huyen's biological parents. Overwhelmed by shocking details from her past, Huyen feels years of loneliness collide with sudden hope. Yet Dae insists on a DNA test to protect her from heartbreak, and Thomas agrees. Caught between longing and certainty, Huyen must choose courage, because only the truth can turn hope into a real family. The car had barely come to a stop in front of the small, weathered house at the end of the quiet road when Dee broke the silence with a sentence that changed the weight of the entire moment. "No matter what happens today," he said gently but firmly, "we will do a DNA test." His words hung in the air, steady and protective, like an anchor dropped into a storm of emotions. Thomas, seated in the front, nodded in complete agreement. He had spent months searching, tracing faded documents, following fragile clues that led them here. He believed with all his heart that the couple inside that house could be Huyen's biological parents. But belief, as powerful as it was, could not replace certainty. Huyen's fingers trembled in her lap. For as long as she could remember, she had carried the quiet identity of an orphan. She grew up telling herself she did not need answers, that she was strong enough without knowing where she came from. Yet every birthday, every school ceremony, every moment she watched other children run into their parents' arms, a small, unhealed space inside her would ache. She had built her life carefully, brick by brick, without expecting anyone to come searching for her. And now, suddenly, she was sitting outside a house that might hold the truth about her very existence. The late afternoon light cast long shadows across the yard, and even the wind seemed to move more slowly, as if the world understood the gravity of this encounter. Dee reached for her hand, his touch warm and steady. "This isn't about doubt," he whispered. "It's about protecting your heart. If they are truly your parents, the DNA test will give you peace that no one can ever take away. And if they're not, you deserve to know the truth before you give them your whole soul." Huyen swallowed hard. She wanted to run toward the door, to believe without hesitation, to finally say the word mother without imagining it. But Dee was right. Hope could be beautiful, yet it could also be devastating if built on uncertainty. Thomas turned around and looked at her with eyes full of both excitement and caution. "I believe this is your family," he said softly, "but I want you to have proof, not just faith." Then the front door slowly opened. A middle-aged woman stepped out first, her eyes already glistening as though she had been crying long before they arrived. Behind her stood a man whose expression carried years of regret and longing. When their eyes met Huyen's, something invisible and electric passed between them. The woman's lips trembled. Huyen felt her heart pound so violently she thought she might collapse. For a split second, she imagined rushing forward, collapsing into a stranger's embrace that somehow felt achingly familiar. But Dee's earlier words echoed clearly in her mind. "We will do a DNA test." And in that fragile space between hope and certainty, Huyen understood that before she could claim a family, she needed the truth. For a long moment, none of them moved. The distance between the car and the doorway felt impossibly vast, as though it stretched across years of separation, rather than a few steps of gravel. Then Thomot quietly opened the door and stepped out, and the spell was broken. Death followed, still holding Yuen's hand, grounding her in the present as they walked toward the couple, waiting beneath the fading light. Up close, Huyen could see the fine lines around the woman's eyes, the way her hands trembled as if she were holding back a lifetime of tears. The man beside her stood straighter, but his jaw quivered despite his effort to remain composed. You were born on the 17th of March, the woman said, her voice unsteady yet certain. There was a small birthmark behind your left shoulder. The nurse wrapped you in a pale yellow blanket because the hospital had run out of white ones that day. Huyen felt the world tilt. Those details were not written in any adoption file she had ever seen. She had discovered the birthmark herself as a child, and once asked a caregiver about it, only to receive a shrug in response. The date of her birth had always felt like a number without history, a fact without roots. And now, here was a stranger speaking of it with intimate tenderness. The man stepped forward, his eyes searching her face as if memorizing every feature. We never stopped looking, he said, his voice breaking. There was an accident, confusion, papers misplaced. By the time we understood what had happened, you were gone. We searched hospitals, agencies, anywhere we could. We were young and powerless, but we never forgot. Each word wrapped around Yuen's heart like a fragile thread, stitching together pieces she had long believed were permanently torn apart. She wanted to believe them instantly. She wanted to let their grief merge with hers and call it reunion. For years, she had told herself she did not need parents, that she had survived alone and grown strong without a family name to protect her. Yet standing there, listening to the trembling confession of two people who claimed they had searched for her, she felt the child inside her rise up, hopeful, desperate, vulnerable. Tears blurred her vision. I always thought no one was looking, she whispered. It was not an accusation, only a confession of loneliness. The woman covered her mouth as she sobbed openly now. Every birthday, I lit a candle, she said. I didn't know where you were, but I prayed you were safe. Dad tightened his grip gently, a silent reminder of the promise he had made moments earlier. Hope must walk beside truth. Thomot watched the exchange with moist eyes, his months of investigation echoing in his mind. Documents aligning, timelines overlapping, names matching. Everything pointed toward this being real, and yet the certainty they needed had not arrived. Huyen stepped closer, close enough to see the faint resemblance in the curve of the woman's smile, the familiar shape of the man's eyes that mirrored her own reflection in photographs. The emotional pull was undeniable, magnetic and overwhelming, but beneath the surge of longing, a quieter voice persisted, steady and protective. If this was truly her family, the DNA test would confirm it, and if it was not, she needed to know before surrendering her heart completely. Between tears and trembling breaths, suspended between reunion and revelation, Huyen realized that this moment was not the end of her search. It was the beginning of the truth. The silence that followed felt different now, not empty, but fragile, as though a single wrong word could shatter everything they were standing on. Huyen wiped her tears slowly, her emotions still surging like waves that refused to settle. She looked from the woman whose eyes mirrored her own sorrow to the man whose trembling hands seemed to carry years of regret. Every instinct inside her wanted to close the distance completely, to step forward and call them mother and father without hesitation. Yet Dee's steady presence beside her reminded her that love, if it was to last, must stand on truth. Dee gently cleared his throat, his voice calm but respectful. "We believe you," he said softly, addressing the couple, "and we can see how much this means to you. But for Huyen's sake, for all of us, we need to make this official. A DNA test will give everyone peace." His words were not cold, they were careful, shaped by protection rather than suspicion. For a brief second, uncertainty flickered across the man's face. The woman pressed her hands together tightly, as if afraid this request might push her daughter away again. But then she nodded, tears sliding freely down her cheeks. "Of course," she whispered. "If that is what she needs, we will do it. We have waited this long. We can wait a little longer for the truth." The Mott stepped forward then, relief softening his features. "I agree completely," he said. "I've followed every clue, checked every record. Everything points here, but certainty will protect this reunion. It will make it unbreakable." His voice carried conviction, not doubt. He wanted this to be real, perhaps as much as Huyen did, but he wanted it to be real, beyond question. Huyen inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of the decision settle into something steady inside her chest. This was no longer just about longing. It was about building something lasting. She looked at the couple again, really looked at them, not through the blur of desperate hope, but through the clarity of a woman who had survived abandonment and grown strong because of it. "I don't want to lose you again," she said honestly, her voice trembling yet brave. "If we are family, I want nothing to ever separate us. And if we're not, I need to know before I give my heart completely." There was no accusation in her tone, only vulnerability wrapped in courage. The man stepped closer, his own tears falling freely now. "We won't lose you," he said. "Whatever the result, we are grateful just to stand here and see you alive, grown and strong." In that moment, something shifted. The DNA test was no longer a barrier, it was a bridge. It was the path that would lead them either to confirmed belonging or to honest closure. And strangely, that truth felt comforting. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in shades of gold and fading rose, they agreed to go together to the hospital the following morning. No one rushed forward for a dramatic embrace, but neither did they step back. They remained there, close enough to feel each other's presence, suspended in hope, yet grounded in reason. For the first time in her life, Huyen did not feel like an orphan standing alone in uncertainty. She felt like a woman walking toward the truth, supported, protected, and brave enough to face whatever the results might reveal. And beside her, Dee and Thomas stood firm, not just as witnesses to her search, but as pillars, ensuring that when her story finally found its answer, it would be built on something no doubt could ever undo.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Live Single RV. Vậy là câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kể về nội dung đó chính là việc Thomas đã đưa Huyen và Đệ đến nhà gặp ông bà mà Thomas cho rằng đó chính là bố mẹ ruột của Huyen. Trong lúc đến gặp ông bà thì Huyen đã rất là xúc động, bởi vì từ trước đến nay cô cứ nghĩ rằng mình là trẻ mồ côi, không cha không mẹ. Giờ đây khi có người nhận mình là con và đó là bố mẹ của mình thì Huyền không khỏi xúc động. Cô rất là mong muốn được nhận hai người làm bố mẹ, nhưng Đệ đã tỉnh táo hơn Huyền. Đệ đã nói với Huyền và Thomas rằng bây giờ muốn biết đó có chính xác là mẹ của Huyền và bố của Huyền hay không thì hãy làm kết quả xét nghiệm ADN để khẳng định chắc chắn. Huyền đã nghe lời Đệ và Thomas cũng thấy rằng ý kiến của Đệ rất là đúng đắn. Vậy liệu rằng ông bà có phải là bố mẹ của Huyền hay không? Tất cả sẽ được hé lộ vào tập tiếp theo khi có kết quả ADN của Huyền. Các bạn đừng quên bấm vào nút đăng ký kênh sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các câu chuyện sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Live Single RV nha. Và các bạn đừng quên bấm like, share và để lại bình luận góp ý ở dưới video. Mọi ý kiến đóng góp của các bạn sẽ giúp mình cải thiện nội dung trên kênh hay hơn nữa để phục vụ khán giả. Và cũng đừng quên bấm vào giỏ hàng được đính kèm ở trên video để mua các sản phẩm ủng hộ Huyền và Đệ nha. Huyền and Đệ thank you so much. Please continue support their channel Live Single RV. Bye bye.